Hi everyone, I'm Josh Rodriguez, ERP Integration Architect, and today we're going to go over a healthcare integration using MuleSoft, API-led connectivity, and Claude AI. We are going to walk through a realistic patient referral coordination scenario and show how MuleSoft simplifies this integration while preparing healthcare systems for responsible AI. As in previous demos, we're going to go over real quick over the discussion of the architecture of this, and then we're going to go with a live quick demo. So let's get started. So let's define the business problem for this first. So imagine a physician submits a referral for a patient who needs cardiology consultation. Before scheduling that referral, several enterprise systems need to work together. So it's not like one system is the only source of truth for everything. So we need a couple of endpoints. We need patient information, insurance verification, prior authorization, provider availability, and scheduling. So rather than enforcing every consumer to communicate directly with all those systems, we expose a single governed API through MuleSoft. Okay. So looking at the diagram of this real quick, at the system layer, we have our 5 endpoints. As we briefly discussed, we got the patient service API. We got another API for the insurance, another for the directory, for the provider directory API, another one for scheduling, and another for prior authorizations. These are all aggregated and orchestrated with our Node.js application, which is going to be consumed by MuleSoft through a single endpoint. Again, this single endpoint is going to basically aggregate all of these 5 right here, so that it has just one stable API contract, and we do abstraction and decoupling and providing security and policy enforcement. And lastly, that MuleSoft endpoint can be consumed by any client that we want. And in this case, we're going to use Claude AI for providing an administrative summary and insights. Okay. So let's go into MuleSoft. And for this, we're going to use Anypoint Studio. Going over this briefly, we have our listener, which is, again, is going to be just one endpoint for the API referrals patient ID as a variable summary. So we're going to provide a summary for a patient ID that we're passing in as a parameter. For setting a variable, again, that's the patient ID that we just discussed. And for the request, again, we're using abstraction right here, where we were basically providing the same summary information for this same patient ID. And lastly, we have our transformation using DataWeave. So again, we're pasting some values as they are as referral ID, which is the payload referral ID. And patient ID is going to be first name concatenated with last name. And the rest of the fields are mainly just passed as they are. So we have referral reason, coverage status, payer name, and so on. Okay, so back into our application for actually running this. Again, let's do an npm run dev to start kicking this off. Going over real quick into our mock services for the payload data, we have our actual 5 endpoints like we discussed. So we got for insurance, we got this one. So we have the payer name, Blue Cross Health Plan with a coverage status of active. For patient API, we have Maria Santos. For authorization, we have an authorization status for not required. The reason is cardiology referral is covered under active PPO plan. For provider, we have a network status of in-network. And lastly, for scheduling, our next available appointment is July 2nd at 2 p.m. at this location. And here actually we have our orchestration. Again, we're doing our orchestration in our Node.js application. So we're basically saying start with patient API and go all the way through our authorization API. Okay, so since we ran our Node application, now we can run MuleSoft. So let's kick this off. It's gonna take a couple of seconds, so let's just wait real quick until it actually says that it has been deployed. And there we have it. Our application healthcare referral experience API has been deployed. So now we're ready to run this. Going back to Node.js, let's open a new terminal and actually kick this off to get our summary. Oops, we are not in the correct location, so let's fix that. We need to be under Claude client because that's where our mock data is. Let's do npm start. All right, there you go. So it's reading our environment variables from our .env file. And going over this real quick again, for AI, we're using Claude. And we are using this specific model right here. Like in here, we see that our summary has been generated. Summary generated by Josh's governance rules. For patient Maria Santos, referring for cardiology evaluation for recurring chest discomfort. The coverage is, and again, we can know that this is a parameter because of those two asterisks. So the coverage is active for Blue Cross Health Plan, like we saw before. Our prior authorization is not required. The recommended provider is Dr. Alicia, under this location. The appointment is July 2nd at 2 p.m., as we saw earlier, with a status of ready for nurse review. Proceed. Yes, patient has active coverage. Prior authorization is not required, and an in-network cardiologist has availability. So far, so good. And lastly, it has one important note here. So it says human review required. Yes. And why do we have this here? Because we want to emphasize that the AI model is not actually making any decisions on this. It's basically taking all of those endpoints information consumed by MuleSoft and provided a summary on that. Again, we don't want AI to actually play with the data. We just wanted to make a summary based on that transform payload from MuleSoft. So that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching. In the next video, we're actually going to be building on this same project, and we're going to introduce the model context protocol, which will allow AI agents to discover and invoke enterprise capabilities through standardized tools. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.